Hello guys, Oroth here and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to talk about something that most of us are interacting with on a daily basis when we play Diablo Immortal, but a lot of us don't understand how this mechanic works. And I'm talking about the armory. The armory is a very powerful and useful tool that allows us to save our builds so that we can switch whenever we want between any type of PvE build or PvP build. But I have realized that a lot of players don't understand how to utilize this feature properly, and that might lead to a lot of the builds being messed up after some time. It might even lead to a lot of legendary gems going dormant whenever you switch build, and hopefully after watching this video you will know what to do going forward, and it will save you a lot of time and headache. So let us look at what we can do in the armory. If I go inside here, we can see that I have not saved any builds right now, and if I click save here, the build will be saved. And a lot of players, they just use the armory like this. They go to a loadout, they click on save, and then they have a build here. But the issue now is that there are a lot of information that will not be saved in the armory if we just save it like this. And here's the first thing I want to show. Left of overwrite, you can see this cogwheel. And I have a lot of one-to-one sessions with people, and when I go into the armories, I realize that a lot of people don't even know that this button exists. And if you click this cogwheel, we actually get a lot more options. So let's just uncheck everything for now and click on overwrite. So we have this build that is saved, but you can see here it doesn't remember where the legendary gems are, it doesn't remember which runes I'm using, and there's also a lot of other information. So first of all, if we look on the first check mark here, if I don't check this store familiar check mark, it will not remember which familiar I am using. So let's say that I have a specific familiar that I want to use. Right now I'm having this dragon, and we can see that this is what I want to use for PvE. But let's say that I would switch this dragon out for the ash sweeper. If I go to the armory and I load this save where I'm supposed to have the dragon, since I didn't have this store familiar checked, it will not remember that I had the dragon, so I will still have the ash sweeper equipped. So what I want to do is that I want to equip the dragon again. I want to go here to the loadout and I want to check this mark and click overwrite. And now it's saved with the familiar here. So once again, now if I put on this ash sweeper instead, and then I go to the armory and I activate the build, you can see that it will switch to my dragon, just the way I want it. So now I have the dragon equipped, perfect. But this is not enough. So if I go back here to the build, we can also see that I have a lot of other options. And the next option is linked to the Paragon. And if I check this one, it will only remember which skills I have activated. It will not remember all of the upgrades I have done within the Paragon. And I actually want to check this, because otherwise, if I load a build in the armory, it might remove some of the points that I've collected. So let me show what I mean. So currently we have it saved without the check mark. Imagine now that I level up a little bit and I start to upgrade here to gain some extra stats. So right now I have 83 points, and now I rank it up and I get some damage and some secondaries, etc, etc. But since I didn't check that mark in the armory, whenever I activate this loadout, you can see that it will remove all the paragons that I distributed after saving the build in the armory. So we can see now that once again I have 83 points and I have to reapply these points. So instead what I want to do, I want to go here to the cogwheel and I also want to activate this check mark, and now I click on overwrite. And what we can see now is that, let's say that I level up a little bit and I do some upgrades in here again. So let's put this back in, I get some extra stats, and now when I activate the build in the armory, it will not remove any of the Paragon points that I have distributed. And that is thanks to me checking this mark, so I always want this checked. The next check mark is very simple. It will allow us to remember which runes we are using. If I don't check this mark, it will not remember the runes. So here we can see right now no runes. So let's say that I remove this rune, and now when I activate the build, it will still be removed. So what I want to do is that I of course want the armory to remember which specific runes I was using for this build, and to do so I have to also check this mark. So if I click overwrite again, we can see that now the build is saved with the runes. The next thing is of course the legendary gems. If you look here now in the armory, the build is not saved with the legendary gems. And this is of course crucial, so I want to check this mark, and if I overwrite now, you can see that now the armory will remember which legendary gems I'm using. And what's so good about that is that imagine that I take off this blood flow, and we can see now that I have a lot of gems inside of it. I have 5 gems inside of it. Whenever I remove it, it will become unequipped, of course, and all of the gems that were inside will end up here in my bag as well. But if I have saved it in the armory so it remembers where all the legendary gems were, as soon as I click on activate and load up the build, all of the gems will jump back into its position. So it will not only remember the main gem, it will also remember exactly which gems that I had put inside. If we go inside here again, we have 2 more options. So the first one is save your primary loadout. So what does this mean? If I go here to the blacksmith, I can change my reforges. And if I click here on my helmet, for example, we can see here at the top that we can have up to 3 different loadouts. And let's say that this is a PvE build. I want to use this generic loadout for my reforges. But if I don't check that mark in the armory, it will not remember what I pick here. So if I ever go into my PvP reforges and then I load up the build, it will remain with my PvP reforges. And that's not what I want. I want every build in the armory to remember which type of reforge setup that I'm using. So for that reason, I also want to check this mark. And let's override it again. Finally, we're also going to take a look at this final mark. And this one is an important one. Because right now, if I don't check this mark, the armory will remember exactly which item I am using. So for example, we can see here that I'm using the Horsespitter Spirit helmet. And let's try now to put on this Grave Runner instead. So I put on this Grave Runner. And now, when I load the build in the armory, it will re-equip the Horsespitter Spirit. So we can see now that if I go here to my inventory, we can see that the Horsespitter Spirit is equipped. But what I actually want to do is, in most cases, I want to check this mark. Because if I check this mark, it will remember not exactly which items I'm using, but only which essences I'm using. If I don't check this mark, let's say that if I replace this Horsespitter Spirit, I put on this blue helmet, and then I delete this helmet for some reason, I don't want it anymore. If I then go to the armory, it will just be a blank space here at the helmet slot, because I no longer own that item, I have destroyed it. And what often happens for a lot of players, especially if they change class a lot, is that after some time, most of their builds in the armory will just be a big mess. There will be a lot of slots missing here, and it will just be very tedious to set it up again. But we can avoid this by checking this mark. So now, if I check this mark, you can see that it will only remember the essences. So it doesn't matter if I find a new main hand, if I find a new offhand, or find a new helmet, I can always load up the armory, and it will only change the essence without having to change the items that I have equipped. And I think that this is the best way to do it in most cases. But I can of course say that if you are very detailed, maybe you have many different setups in your stash. Maybe you have one specific item setup for PvP, and you have one specific item setup for dungeons, and maybe one specific item setup for open world farming. And if that's the case, you actually want to uncheck this mark. But the annoying part is still that you have to update all of the builds in your armory whenever you find a new item that you want to replace an old item with. And for that reason, I always save it like this, because I think it's more easy to just switch out the items manually compared to having to update the armory from time to time. And yeah, I just wanted to show you how powerful the armory can be if you actually know what you're doing. And if you save your build correctly, and my recommendation is for most of you to just check all of these marks, you will save so much time and it will be so much less headache when you mess up your setups. And yeah, I just wanted to share this guide real quick with you, and I hope that it was helpful. And until next time, I want to wish you a very nice day or a very nice evening wherever you are. And to all of my clan members in Nyx, I would of course also like to say Voruk Nyx, Sholak Sol. So bye bye.
If a boy or if a girl subscribe to Auto's channel, let him take you to his world. Subscribe to Auto's channel, the best choice you will ever make. Subscribe to Auto's channel, hit the bell, a piece of cake. Subscribe to Auto's channel. Let me tell you one more time, call out from sin. Subscribe to Auto's channel. All the answers you will find if you subscribe to Auto's channel. If you subscribe